Hey there, Brandi here from the Support Center in Okanogan County. Today I'm doing section 4 of Safety Planning Guide. We'll cover the red flags to look out for, risk factors, and the abuser profile. I'll also leave my contact information and a link to a video about the 10 red flags of abuse in the comments below. So first, let's do the 10 key relational red flags to look out for. So number 1 is the lack of communication. If an individual finds it difficult to talk about issues or express how they feel, they lack the ability to communicate. So often when it would seem most important to be open and honest, they distance themselves emotionally, leaving you high and dry or hanging or having you deal with the situation on your own. And often whatever is communicated is usually expressed through moodiness or the silent treatment. Um, Individuals like this are also irresponsible, immature, or unpredictable. So sometimes they have trouble mastering basic life skills like taking care of themselves, managing their finances or their personal space, holding on to a job, or making plans for their life and future. Um, I like to call this the growing up phase. So they're still growing and not understanding what life's about yet. Number 3 is lack of trust. When someone has difficulty being honest with himself or herself, it may be hard for them to be honest with you. So some of this behavior may not be calculated or malicious, but simply a learned way or habit of coping. However, the being out and being out loud is a no-brainer. A person who holds himself or herself unaccountable for their actions lacks integrity and lacks respect for their partner. So you may feel, and you rightly so, that there are a lot of missing pieces from them. So much that you don't know or that is purposely hidden from you. Number 4 is significant family and friends don't like your partner. So if you have a lot of friends and family that are coming to you and be like, what do you see in him? Or, you need to leave him, or he's no good for you, just coming back with all this negative criticism. Oftentimes when you're starting a relationship, you want to see the good in everything. So hearing stuff like that from other people is really hard to take, as you feel that they're just going against what you feel. So sometimes it is hard, but it's necessary to be able to listen to those around you and take it from a perspective, um, that they know or they see something that you don't. Number 5 is controlling behavior. A partner who attempts to divide and conquer. So, driving a wedge between you and other significant people in your life. They may be jealous of your ongoing relationships with these people, or simply the need to control where you go and who you associate with, limiting your world to allow only what is important to them. Sometimes they may make you choose them over significant others as an expression of love. Number 6, feeling insecure in the relationship. You may often feel that you don't know where you stand in the relationship. Rather than moving forward, building on shared experiences that should be strengthening your relationship and your connection, you feel uncomfortable, uncertain, or anxious about where it's heading. You may seek reassurance from your partner, but somehow these are only momentary and fleeting. So as a result, you may be working double duty to keep the relationship on track while your partner contributes very little. Number 7, a dark or secretive past. Behaviors that are suspect, illegal activities, and addictive behaviors that often have been resolved and continue into your relationship are obvious red flags. But you shouldn't ignore or excuse anything that strikes you as strange or makes you feel uncomfortable. Number 8, non-resolution of past relationships. These include not just intimate partner relationships, but those with family members and friends. If a person is unable to evaluate why past relationships haven't worked out or consistently blames the other party for all of the problems, you can bet with a great deal of confidence that the same thing could happen with your relationship. Number 9, the relationship is built on the need to feel needed. Often we enter into a relationship strongly identified with our needs. The needs may be that you, my partner, must do certain things for me to make me feel secure and satisfied, or that you allow me, your partner, to feel needed by fulfilling your needs. If this dynamic is the focal point of your relationship, however, there may be little room for real growth individually or as a couple. Number 10, abusive behavior. Finally, and of course, any form of abuse, from the seemingly mild to often overly obvious verbal, emotional, psychological, and certainly physical, is not just a red flag, but a huge banner telling you to get out immediately and never look back. A red flag is a good intuitive image to you to help you process what you're really feeling. At the end of a difficult relationship, people often say he or she told me who he or she was at the very beginning, but I just didn't listen. Learn to trust what you feel. Your hunch is probably right. Next section part here, a little fact and myth. So the myth is everyone thinks I'm overreacting, but I really feel like my partner could kill me. Fact, while it is true that most abusers do not end up killing their partners, too many do. Nobody knows your situation better than you. It is very important that you trust your instincts about your safety, not minimizing your fears, and get help when you are planning for your safety. Are you in danger of being killed? In the previous sections, we have reviewed a number of common batterer behaviors and tactics. While they all can do harm, certain behaviors of abusers often have proven to be particularly alarming. If any of the following factors are present in your situation, you are strongly encouraged to talk to a domestic violence advocate about your situation and your safety. Studies have found that the presence of any combination of these factors, rather than a single key factor, increases the likelihood of an abuser killing his intimate partner. However, even if none of these factors are present, it does not mean you are safe. If you are worried about your safety, do not hesitate to get assistance. Recognize the risk factors can help you stay safe and can help friends and family, advocates, and other professionals keep you even safer. So, the top risk factors for homicide: possession of weapons. So, if your abuser owns a weapon and has used them or threatened to use them against you in the past, you are at a higher risk than anybody. The use of guns is a strong predictor of homicide. Likewise, some studies indicate that the presence of a gun in a home, even if not used or threatened in the past, is a strong predictor of increased link to homicide. Number 2 is threatened or has threatened to kill you. Threats to kill and your sense that your partner is capable of killing you point to increased risk of murder. Possessiveness or jealousy. If your abuser believes you belong to them or is consistently and violently jealous, then you may feel justified in using violence, or they feel justified in using violence and may even justify murder. Escalating severity of violence. When the violence gets worse and your batterer begins to act more and more as if he or she has no regard for the consequences of their actions, legal or otherwise, you're at the risk of danger, or your risk of danger increases. Threats or attempt suicide. If your batterer, who is willing to take their own life, might be willing to take yours. Since 1997 in Washington state, 32% of abusers who committed domestic violence homicide also killed themselves. Recently separated or in the process of separating. Leaving an abusive partner can be a very dangerous time. An abuser may feel justified in preventing their partner from leaving by any means necessary. Violence can escalate at the time of separation, so be very safe. Try to make sure that you're very safe and protected during that time when you are making that decision to leave. Unemployment. So being unemployed may add to an abuser's sense that they are losing control over many things, including their partner. Some research indicates that unemployment significantly increases that risk. Strangled or tried to strangle you in the past. While strangulation or choking often leaves no marks, it is very dangerous and a violent act that can be deadly. Forced sex or rape. Sexual violence is a serious trauma that can be hard to talk about, but it also points to serious risk. Controlling most or all of your daily activities. Controlling behavior is not always recognized as dangerous. However, an extreme need to control one's partner is one of the biggest risk factors. Uses drugs and alcohol frequently. If your partner is frequently drunk or high, you are at increased risk of homicide. While use of drugs and alcohol does not cause a person to be abusive, it does raise the danger level as it can weaken inhibitors and increase impulsivity. Physical abuse during pregnancy. If your partner was ever physically violent during a pregnancy, you are at an increased risk for homicide. Children in the home. Some research indicates that risk increases if the victim has children, not in common with the abuser. Similarly, risk increases if the abuser has a history of violence or threats towards the children. And last, stalking. Some studies have found that upward of 75% of women murdered by their partners had been stalked in the year prior to being killed. Batterers who stalk their partners may stop at nothing, including homicide, to regain control of someone they think they own. If you recognize these risk factors in your batterer or your abuser, it is important to get support and help to increase your safety. So the last section that we'll go over here is the profile of an abuser. So the first thing you know about an abuser is that he is a normal man or woman. There is nothing unusual about him or her, nothing to indicate he is an abuser. Every abuser believes they have the right to control their partner. There is a need to control. Their need to control is far greater than their capacity to love their partner. Abusers don't forget about their abuse. They just deny it. Abusers minimize the impact and effect of their abuse. They make it less than it is, which makes us feel that we are overreacting. Abusers blame their partner for the abuse. They may blame alcohol, drugs, their partner, their job, anything else but themselves to justify their behavior. So abusers tend to associate with other abusive men. They invite support for their abuse from the other people. Some beliefs of an abuser. Anger causes violence. Women are manipulative. If I don't control her, she'll control me. Smashing things isn't abusive, it's venting. Sometimes there is no alternative to violence. Women are just as abusive as men. Women want to be dominated by men. Somebody has to be in charge. Jealousy is natural to men. Violence is a breakdown in communication. Men can't change if women won't. All these phrases here are all towards victim blaming. They blame the victim in a way that people often don't understand until they've been there. So those are some more common things to look out for when in that situation. But that's all I have for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you got the information that I was trying to give out. If there's any questions or concerns or comments, please reach out. All my contact information will be in the comments below. Have a good weekend. Bye.